Okay, they lose Mitch Marner, but now they have so much better depth. They're going to be harder to play against. The problem is the depth can't fucking score.
And not only that, but the problem... And now can they not score? They also can't defend. And not only can they not defend, but I think Berube has destroyed the play style of the team. The Maple Leafs, when they were at their best, even though they'd be first round exits, they were run and gun. You could be run and gun with your bottom six also being able to defend. There's nothing wrong with that. Welcome to another episode from the Checking From Behind podcast. My host Zach is always joined by my co-host Preston. We're getting into the meat of the season. Well, not the meat, but in terms of the playoff races. In our last episode, we talked about predictions. This episode, we have power rankings coming up. We have the Matthews torn MCL. And, at the end of the day, next month is going to be fantastic.
Well, yeah, this is the push for the playoffs. We're starting to see some real pushes from teams outside. We got some excited races going on. East wild card, and also the West wild card is starting to get interesting as well.
I'm excited to talk about all of it, but there's one thing I do want to bring up, okay? Have you ever related to an NHL player before?
When they have a really bad play, yes. Like when they turn the puck over right in front of the net, yeah, I do that all the time.
And you play beer league, correct? Yeah. The Sioux plays beer league, and Dione came out with the quote, and I know it all comes back to the Buffalo Sabres, but Rasmus Dahlin says the Sabres stick up for one another better this season because they worked on their brotherhood. And then he was asked, how do you work on your brotherhood? He goes, drink beers. Just like every beer league you're out there watching and listening.
That's half the reason why you do these beer leagues as an adult. You just get to hang out with the boys after the game, right?
At 12:30 in the morning.
That's the best part. You're either hanging out in the parking lot, tailgating, or you go out somewhere. That's what you play for at that point, right?
Exactly.
If you're not having fun with the guys you're playing with, why are you playing?
You know what? At the end of the day, it's just a game. These guys are making millions of dollars, but they know it's their job. And that's why, especially when you're a guy like Dahlin, or even any of these players, you could be just a deadline rental. Go out and have a few beers with the guys.
Well, it's just about how much he's grown as a leader, too. Is I feel like he's really grown into his captaincy role and has embraced it. And the guys, you could tell, really respect him, and they listen to him.
Yeah, and this is a guy that will go up to, let's say Stanley Cup, for example, right? First day, introduces himself, small talk is like, all the boys are going out to a bar down the street, come have a couple beers with us. It's like,
or even just like, hey, welcome to Buffalo. Let's go out to dinner now. I'll take you to one of my favorite spots in town, so you guys can get used to it. Like, bring your wives.
Take them somewhere on Chippewa Street,
Yeah, like just show them around town, like make them feel welcome.
Show them Canal Side, right?
Like, don't make them feel like it's hard when you go to a new team and you don't know anybody, and you're in a new city for the first time. Especially Shen's a little used to it. He's been all over the place, but Stanley, this is his first time getting traded. He's been in Winnipeg his whole career.
Yep.
So it's a big change. And just to have a group of guys that just embrace you like that, it makes you feel at ease right away and let you step in and just continue to play.
When you go to a team that is laid back, but they also know when to work, and they're not afraid to make mistakes. You see a lot of teams too, and a lot of players at that, where they'll get to a new team, they feel really tense, they try to do too much, and then they're afraid to make a mistake, and then that's when they make the most mistakes, right? And you look at a team like the Sabres, where I know Stanley and Shen haven't gotten off to the greatest start here in Buffalo, but Carrick, for example, that guy, he's fit in perfectly on the fourth line.
Yeah, he's been awesome. I think he's been one of the better additions for across the deadline this year for teams.
Yeah, he has, and didn't give up a ton. He's fitting right there. He has another year left on his contract
Only
as well.
$1 million cap hit or something like that.
Yeah, it's crazy. And again, like you said, that is the growth Dahlin has made over his career, just even as a captain the last 2 seasons as well. I want to get into some news, and it's going to be unfortunate news. By the way, speaking of Dahlin too, he ended up actually asking yesterday after the morning skate how Auston Matthews was. So
ask.
I don't know. A reporter was doing like the scrum.
Like one of the Leafs reporters.
I don't know. It's just scrum.
Oh,
I don't know. Yeah. I have no idea. Because Matthews is out the rest of the season due to a torn MCL.
Yeah, just for those of you who haven't seen it, I'd imagine if you're here, you're a pretty hardcore hockey fan. But just in case you haven't, we'll go over it real quick. So it was it Thursday night?
Yeah.
Thursday night, Ducks against Toronto. Matthews is trying to, get an offensive chance going, and he's trying to get around Gudas. And Gudas realizes he's beat, so he sticks his knee out the last second and clips Matthews right in the knee. Matthews goes immediately down, needs help getting off the ice. MRI reveals that he has a grade 3 torn MCL, which is actually a better case scenario than him tearing his ACL.
Mm-hmm.
His ACL, that's surgery.
Yeah.
Torn MCL can heal on its own. They have to wait for the swelling to go down, and they're going to reevaluate in a couple weeks once they can get a clearer image to see if surgery is not needed, but that would be the best case for Auston, where he could just rehab it this summer and maybe be ready to play next season.
Like you said, best case scenario for them in terms of, this play, and obviously it sucks for the Maple Leafs and Matthews, and like if he tears his ACL, he might never be the same player again. Now, obviously,
if he tore his ACL, he may not be playing next year at all.
Well, we'll see. Like, he would probably come back at some point next season.
He missed most of the season.
He wouldn't be ready for training camp or the start of the season, I'll tell you that much. He would miss probably the next 8 months.
Probably December at the earliest.
Yeah, but also you see players coming back from this shit in 8 months.
Barkov's skating with the team already, which is insane.
He's been skating the last month, which is crazy.
I mean, it's probably better for the Panthers that they didn't make the playoffs this year, so he can have a full summer to recover and not forced to play on that knee early. But
yeah, but with this play, my overall thoughts fucking dirty, man. Yeah, what are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know how you only get 5 games for that, where it was clearly intentional with intent to injure. You're doing it to one of the star players in the NHL. And Gudas has a history of this kind of stuff. This is not his first. I think this is his 5th suspension.
Yep.
He's forfeited almost $1 million in game fees because of games he hasn't been able to play and due to suspension. Like, what are we doing, George Parros? Like, I don't care that it could have been a 4th line player from the Canucks that this happened to. It doesn't matter. Like, it's a dirty play with a player with clear intent to injure that has a history of doing this. You have to send a stronger message of 5 fucking games.
Matthews' agents came out with the great quote. Now, I don't know the exact quote, but the paraphrase, he basically said the players' safety department should be suspended themselves for this.
It was bad. I don't understand George Parros. He's so up and down with his punishments for these kinds of things. Like, because correct me if I'm wrong, Malkin got 5 games for slashing the fuck out of Dionne.
Yep.
And then Gudas, which I feel what he did was, I mean, it could have been worse with Malkin. Thankfully, Dionne was fine. But, Gudas did majorly injure Auston Matthews. Clearly intentional, just like Malkin's was intentional on Dionne when he slashed him on the neck. But if Malkin's getting 5 games for that and there's no injury, and then Gudas takes a guy out for the rest of the season, I don't know how that's just 5 games.
I think the Malkin one should have been more because he's not just slashing him on like the side or whatever.
It was right on the neck. It could have killed him.
So I thought that should have been 5. More than 5. I thought this one definitely should have been more than 5. When I heard that they were gonna have a phone hearing, I was like, I really thought it was only gonna be like 2 games. I was like, there is no way in how he's gonna get the max of 5. Thankfully, he did get the max of 5, but it should have been an in-person hearing, in my opinion. Should have gotten 7, 8, 10 games, something like that at least.
I mean, I'm just reminiscing back to when Brendan Shanahan used to be the head of player safety, and they were very, very transparent about suspensions. They weren't always 100% right, but they would explain to you why they made the decision they make. Every time there was a big suspension, they'd post a video on YouTube and Twitter of Brendan Shanahan like breaking down the entire play, what they're looking for, points of emphasis. They'll look at the history of the player. Has he been suspended before? Does he have a history of hurting people? And then they put that all down in their decision, and they tell you straight up why they made their decision. So at least, if you didn't agree with it, you can at least see why they made that decision. And you're like, you know what? I understand. Like, thank you for breaking that down to me. George Parros doesn't even talk to the media.
Nope. He doesn't talk at all.
Understandably so, because he'd probably just get fucking roasted and torn to shreds by the media if he took questions. But I don't know. I just feel like you could be a little bit more transparent in this. But another big story coming out of this is the lack of response from the Toronto Maple Leafs team.
Yep.
So as this play was happening, there's actually a really good angle from like the top of the blue line where Matthews gets hit. He's down. He's clearly injured. All the Leafs players are just looking, and Nylander's yelling at the ref saying, "Is there a penalty?" No one's going in to try to beat the crap out of Gudas or even like grab him and yell at him. Like, they did absolutely nothing.
Nobody even started.
Like they just
skating
took out
towards
your
him.
captain. I don't care. It doesn't even matter that he's your captain. They took out one of your brothers, one of your teammates. You're not even going to stand. You're not going to stand up for him.
There wasn't even any screaming and
No,
yelling
like
either. No,
they just
nothing.
skated to the bench like nothing happened. Like, how do you care that little about one of your brothers going down? It's pathetic.
The culture that the Maple Leafs have gotten over the last year is not good. This is like Sabres level.
This tells me they need to start really thinking about making some major changes to this team.
I
think Berube is a dead man walking right now. I can't see him coming back next year.
Berube, in my opinion, should be relieved from duties the second the season's over. And then I hate calling for people's jobs. I really do. I love when people get new jobs or first-time coach or whatever. But there are certain changes you have to make.
That team's been made worse the last couple of years.
They have.
I understand the Marner situation, and there's probably not a real situation where they can keep him. I understand that. But they've gotten slower. They've gotten heavier, which the media has been saying for years the Leafs need to do, and now they all of a sudden they can't score. They're top six. You know, they still have Matthews and Nylander. Tavares is starting to get a little bit older, but their top six isn't great.
No.
And their goaltending hasn't been good this year. The defense has also been pretty bad this year, and I don't believe they have a first-round pick this year.
Oh, they do not.
Is it not top 10 protected?
It is from... Isn't their first round pick or whatever that they
because they traded it last year to Boston for Carlo. Let me check.
Where's Toronto?
5 protected.
Yep.
So Toronto.
And they don't have a second round pick either.
Jesus.
They're fucked. They're not getting Gavin McKenna.
I mean, I've heard a couple rumors. Take this with a huge grain of salt. Where they were listening to Matthew Nyes.
I did hear about that. I heard. Okay, again, take this with a grain of salt. I heard the Montreal Canadiens are pushing hard for Matthew Nyes.
Don't let that happen.
And that's
let that happen.
Did you hear about the report that said the Canadiens were working on something big and they could revisit it in the summer? That was Matthew Nyes.
I thought that might have been Robert Thomas.
Was it Robert Thomas? I know they were in Robert Thomas as well.
I know like Detroit and Montreal were very interested in Robert Thomas. Like Buffalo had deep talks as well. Yeah, don't let Montreal get any more of these good young players, dude. They're already stacked.
You know what? Treliving would fucking trade him for a bag of chips.
Matthew Nyes is one of the guys you do not trade. He's one of the guys, like I was watching the Sabres Leafs game yesterday. Like Nyes had a good game.
He's a pest. He's a very good offensive not offensive two-way, but a two-way forward. And he's a pest. He's in front of the net. He's causing havoc. There was a play in last night's game where he's in front, takes a shot. Ryan clearly has it cradled, and he just takes a little poke at him.
Well, yesterday I thought he had the Sabres had a power play, and he did a really good job on the penalty kill, led to a couple shorthanded chances. So, but if I'm Toronto, I really don't know where you go from here. I think they're going to fire Treliving too.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't like what he's done those last couple of years. I think he's made the team worse. They don't have a first round pick this year unless they win the draft lottery, or they get or they're finishing the bottom 5 of the standings, which they are not right now. So you're potentially traded away a top 10 overall pick in a year where you really need a top 10 overall pick to kind of replenish your prospect pool. They don't have a second round pick this year either. And that's where I think that idea of trading a guy like Nyes come up. Was like, do we get some draft picks back? Like,
and they don't have their own first round pick next year.
They have Colorado, so they have the 32nd overall pick. But jokes aside, this team, they went all in. They weren't last year was their chance. They should have beat the Panthers. They had a 3-1 lead, right?
Yep.
They blew it. 2 of the worst playoff games I've ever seen in Game 5 and Game 7. Game 7 last year was a joke for the Leafs.
They were down 4-0 halfway through that game.
Yeah, it was a joke.
Yeah, it was.
Because I think they would have had a real chance to beat Carolina last year in the conference final. That was their year.
And the Toronto Maple Leafs now, at this point, in the standings, they are second to last in the Eastern Conference with 68 points in 67 games.
They've won one game since the Olympic break.
They have won 1 game, and the last 40 days, too. A couple of overtime losses. Bravo, Toronto. Treliving destroyed this fucking team. Even a year ago. Okay, listen, I understand. Like you said, you couldn't do anything about Mitch Marner, right? He was walking either way. He made that evident, right? And you kept him because...
Well, no, the only way they could have fixed the Mitch Marner situation, that had to have been like 3 years ago.
Yes, exactly. And it was not working out. You end up getting Nicholas Waugh back for him, who you end up trading for at first, whatever.
At least you got something for him.
Right. But when Marner decides he's not coming back to Toronto, right? They end up going to try to replace them by getting depth, and the depth hasn't been all that working.
Well, I actually, that was like, we probably said some of this too while I'm thinking about it, but we were all saying, like, well, now they have better depth, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, they lose Mitch Marner, but now they have so much better depth, they're going to be harder to play against. The problem is the depth can't fucking score.
And not only that, but the problem... And now can they not score? They also can't defend. And not only can they not defend, but I think Berube has destroyed the play style of the team. The Maple Leafs, when they were at their best, even though they'd be first round exits, they were run and gun. You could be run and gun with your bottom six also being able to defend. There's nothing wrong with that. You can have your top six being run and gun and have your blue line be very defensive. But what they went out and did is, they have like basically all offense and no defense on their blue line. Morgan Riley's a very good two-way defenseman. I'll give him that. Jake McCabe, he's physical, but he makes defensive mistakes.
Contract.
I'm not either. At 4.491, brutal. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, no defense.
I thought they should have traded Ekman-Larsson.
Me too. Would have gotten something back. You have Simone Benoit, who's just a third pair defenseman, and
Tanev is one of their defensive defensemen, and he's like. He's missed almost the whole season, and that was a pretty big loss for them. I know that was a player that was really big for them last year defensively.
And they went out and got him last year.
They gave up a lot for him.
And he's played well for them, obviously. Things happen. He went out early in the season to like that neck injury or weird freak injury, whatever, and he's recovering from that. But the way that this roster has been destroyed, and
it's just slow. It's too slow.
It is very slow. They don't have enough speed in their top six, in my opinion. And look at teams that have had similar rosters to what they have Toronto right now. Like, let's look at, you have Carolina. Let's take Carolina, Tampa Bay, and Buffalo, for example, in the East, right? Buffalo, they have speed, but what they also have is structure, defensive structure.
And they're physical.
And they're physical, right? And they've been able to match that. Carolina, same thing.
Well, Carolina's been physical, defensively stout for years. The problem is they just can't fucking score in the playoffs.
Exactly.
They should have won a cup by now. Honestly, that team is ridiculous.
That team is stacked.
Yeah.
And Tampa Bay, they have skill and speed in their top 9, but they're also very fit. Those guys are feisty. You have Brandon Hagel throwing haymakers.
Oh, yeah. He's a little fucking pest. Yeah.
You
got to remember, these guys have played a lot of fucking playoff hockey.
Yep.
They have multiple Hall of Famers on that team. Like, they know how to fucking turn it on when they need to turn it on.
Yes.
They've been there. They've done that.
Been there, done that, smacked that. Like, they've done everything. Then you look at Toronto's roster. These guys don't really do anything at all. Like, we even saw the other night, fucking Connor McDavid get into a fight. He dropped the mitts because nobody else would on his team. Like, you don't have Auston Matthews dropping a mitts or William Nylander. Like,
I can't see Nylander ever getting into a fight.
I know I sound like the Toronto media right now ripping these guys, but it's just getting to a point where
they're easy to punch. Like,
dude, I'm not going to completely bash on these guys, but William Nylander, all he does is bitch and fucking whine at the refs.
William Nylander's so fucking good, though. Like,
I don't care.
Frustrates me. Like, he's so fucking good.
You know what? 63 points in 50 games. He's missed time due to injury. I'll give him that, right? He's a 90-point player. Matthews, 40 to 50 goal scorer, right? Obviously, he's had his struggles, right?
Matthews, I'm starting to get worried about like his long-term health.
His longevity here.
Because he's kind of dipped. I know obviously he's not going to have fucking like a 70-goal season every fucking year like he did a couple years ago. But 33 last year, 27 this year.
I remember after his 69-goal season, it was talked about like this dude will be the only active player to even have a chance to sniff.
But he'd have to have like 30 to 40 goals every year. For
He'd have to average, I think, like 48 goals for like 15
That really
years.
puts into perspective how good Ovi has been, like how fucking consistent he's been.
And how his longevity is held up too.
Well, he's just he's adapted his game. He knows he's gotten slower. He knows, and the Capitals have done a great job, especially last year, of rebuilding their offense around getting him the puck in areas where he has a high chance of scoring. They know he can't drive the net or drive play like he used to, but they could still find creative ways to get him the puck in high danger chances.
And that's where Dylan Strome comes into play.
It hasn't worked as much this year. I think defensive has adapted, and they haven't been getting as much of a team output as they had been last year. But that's also evident. Like coaching makes a big difference. Like you can have the highest skilled players in the world, and the coaching matters in finding ways to get them the puck.
Coaching does matter a lot. You look at a lot of these teams that are contenders.
I think Pittsburgh's a perfect example. I think Dan Muse, if Lindy Ruff and John Cooper haven't had the seasons they've had, I think he'd be a slam dunk pick for Coach of the Year. What he's done in Pittsburgh has been super, super good, super impressive.
And you look at a guy like Dan Muse, first-time NHL head coach. He's been an assistant coach before. I think he was also an AHL head coach at one point. But he's never been an NHL head coach, and he's really killed it.
I know a lot of people, there was concern about here is, like, is he going to be able to handle, like, Crosby and Malkin and, like, the Carlson, like, those old vets that have all his power, and yeah, he's been able to handle it. They've bought into a system, and they're in a playoff spot. They've been in a playoff spot all year
because of him.
Yep,
I like legitimately their roster's not a playoff roster.
No, they're coached really well. Like when the Sabres played them a couple weeks ago, I was very impressed by their special teams. They're very good at creating pressure and moving. Chinakov's been a good pickup for them, but that's an example of how coaching can really turn a team around. Because everyone thought Pittsburgh was going to be horrible this year,
and right now they're sitting at 81 points.
Yeah, like they should make the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree with that. And back to the Leafs here, where this is a prime example, like you brought up earlier. Their depth hasn't shown up. So you have Nylander 63, nice, 56 points. Tavares 54, Matthews 53. The next closest guy there at fifth on the team is Oliver Ekman-Larsson with 35. You have three guys with 32. Like, the depth scoring is not there. They haven't surrounded their star players with enough, I guess, substance on the roster. You have these guys kind of playing individual hockey, and this is where, again, I don't like calling for people's jobs. They need a new voice in the room with Berube. He lost the locker room early this season. I think guarantee that.
Berube is like one of those old school coaches, right? There's not a whole lot of them anymore. And the ones that are still succeeding, like Paul Maurice and Lindy Ruff, they've changed the way they're coached.
Yep.
They're not hard-nosed as they used to be because they understand that kind of hockey doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. It's not like the mid-2000s, 2010s, where you can be a hard-ass. Like, the players are different now, and you have to respect that. And Berube, I feel like, still is one of those hard-nosed coaches. And it works at first. But after a while, it can kind of like Tortorella is a perfect example. He only gets there, they start playing better right away. But then a couple years down the road, the players get sick of him and they need a new voice.
Yes, and we saw it last year with Berube. The Maple Leafs are phenomenal. They were really good.
A lot better defensively. Yeah.
Yep. And this season, he hasn't really made the adjustments. He's stuck to the same thing. And when it doesn't work to start the season out, you make those adjustments, right? I know they built the roster to fit his system, but it hasn't worked, and he hasn't made those proper adjustments. And I think that's where you get into trouble. And I see a lot of on Toronto Maple Leafs like social media where they are blaming Berube for killing Matthews' goal scoring and the run and gun offense when the Maple Leafs are really good. And
this is what they've been asking for, right?
Exactly.
Because like all for years and years and years, I've just seen them bitch, like. When going back to when Babcock was the coach and then Keefe, like, we don't play good enough defense. Like, that's why we can't fucking win. Our bottom six sucks. We're not physical enough in the playoffs. And they were like, fine, we'll go get fucking slower. We'll get more physical. We'll get more defense. And then all of a sudden the goal scoring stops. And like, well, now we can't fucking score. Then shut the fuck up and let me do my job.
That's a good response there, right there.
Yeah, like, I get Toronto's going to have more eyes on them than almost any other team in the league. And they're always the media is always the loudest there, no matter what. The team could be in last place, and they'd be just bitching about everything. They'd be first place and they'd be bitching that Matthews should have 50 goals, not 40 goals. Like, what is he doing? He sucks.
They would over the last 7 years, they would be in first, second, or third place in the Atlantic, and they end up losing one game. The world's fucking ended.
I don't know. I just there's not many teams in the league. I feel like the media has such a power over the organization like Toronto does.
I think it's literally Toronto. I think it's literally Toronto and Edmonton.
Because where else do you see this going on? Like, because there's plenty of big market teams, like the Rangers, for example. Like, they don't really give a fuck what the media says. They just do their own thing, for better or for worse.
Yep.
And sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. Like this year. Like to Toronto, though, like I've never seen an organization that caves so much to media pressure and fan pressure. Like, I understand that you got to make them happy, but you can't do everything they fucking tell you.
In order to shut them up, you have to ignore the fuck out of them. Don't give them that ammo, because then if you go out and let's say the Toronto media is bitching at you for not being physical enough, you go out and get them and the team's significantly worse. Now they're bitching at you because you're in 15th place in the Eastern Conference.
And I was like, we can't fucking score. Now we know nobody defends our captain.
You look at Montreal, for example, is a great example. The biggest hockey market, in my opinion.
Oh, they were criticizing him for years.
Yeah.
For like, Slavkovsky was a kind of a controversial pick at number one. And now it looks like there was the correct move.
And the Montreal Canadiens organization ignored them. They did not give a flying fuck what the media was saying.
And now they have they're going to be good for a long. Once they get like consistent, like good goaltending, they're going to be scary. They got a long time.
I'll tell you something. Jacob Fowler is that guy. Jacob Fowler's played a really good hockey over the last few weeks.
Well, he hasn't. Yeah, I like him a lot. He's going to be good. They
got the right coach in St. Louis.
But that forward core is so good. The defensive core is set for years. Like, Lane Hudson's turning into an elite defenseman before our eyes. They have Noah Dobson. Mike Matheson's been an awesome second pair. So is Gooley. Like, this team is so fucking good. They have so many good young players.
Their window to be a contender, I kid you not, is 10 years.
It's just starting. Starting.
It is from now until 2036.
I expected them, disregarding last year, let's pretend last year didn't happen. I would expect them to play playoffs this year. Last year, they were just a year ahead of schedule. Like, they're a legit team now.
That was our expectation. I remember when we were talking about them going into last season, we said, so the 24-25 season was the season where they take that another step to be a 500 team.
Yeah, I could see them last year competing late in the year for a playoff spot. I didn't think they make the playoffs last year.
By a decent margin.
Yeah. Well, it was like by 2 points. Yeah. Like, Columbus was just behind them.
Columbus missed by like 4.
It was like 2 points.
Oh, I thought it was 4.
It was. Let me check, but it was pretty tight. It wasn't it was the last day of the season. Montreal clinched the last playoff spot. Yeah, it was by 2 points. They had to win their last game because Columbus didn't have a game on the last day of the season, but Montreal would have lost. Then Columbus would have made the playoffs.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. And now this season, you look at Montreal; they're going to be in the top 3 spot in the Atlantic Division.
They're either going to be playing Tampa Bay or Buffalo in the first round.
Yup. And what a matchup both of those are going to be. What a matchup, dude! I would love a Montreal Buffalo playoff series.
It'd be intense.
2 hardcore fan bases.
It would be fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah, Montreal's in a really good spot. They're going to be a really good team for a really long time. That top line, Caulfield, Suzuki, and Slavkovsky. Oh my God.
Oh. I wonder how many people get sick of us of talking about the Canadiens like this. We're not even Canadiens.
They're fucking good though.
They're so
good.
How
can you not they're one of the best young teams in the league. They're going to be good for the next 10 years.
Best future in the league, then? I would say so right now.
They
have the most certain, brightest future. You can look at a team like the Sharks with that, but the Sharks, I think that they still have some roster building to do, where Montreal has already gone through that phase where they drafted the young stars and they also went out.
The thing with San Jose is, like, no offense to any of the players on the Canadiens, they're all, like, especially Suzuki, Caulfield, and Slavkovsky, they're all good, but the Sharks have Macklin Celebrini.
They do.
Who's going to be a face of the league for the next 15 years if he stays healthy.
Yes.
I truly believe he has the potential to be like the next Sidney Crosby.
We're going to be in 10 to 15 years, probably 15 years, we'll be comparing kids coming into the draft.
The only 2 teenagers that have had a season like Celebrini's had this year have been Wayne Gretzky and Sidney Crosby.
And Celebrini right now, if he keeps this,
he's going to have over 100 points.
Well, not only that, but also for his career. I'm saying it right now, man. I'm 2 years into his career. If he keeps this up, he will be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
But the kid's so good. And like Will Smith is a really good young player too. They have Michael Misa. like once they get their defense figured out, San Jose is going to be another really
Did you
scary
see
team.
Eklund's goal the other night?
Oh
against
yeah,
Boston? Disgusting.
Yeah, nobody even talks about Eklund, but yeah, he's such a good player too. Like this team, like good job, Mike Greer. You've done a good job rebuilding this team. Smart picks, been patient.
I remember we were completely on the wagon, but we would talk about Mike Greer, how he's doing a phenomenal job. And this all started
He's been very, very patient.
Very patient. He's been very meticulous. He's been really good with the cap, with asset management. I think that's the biggest thing, is that he's been really good with asset management. He's been drafting needs over the best players sometimes. I know a couple of drafts ago, he drafted Dickinson, who
he's playing in the NHL right now, so I think he's one of their young defensemen
Yep.
that like they've got ready to go.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I think in this year's draft, they can go out and get another young defense.
Can you imagine how much further ahead of schedule they would have been if they won the lottery last year? Got Schaefer. Can you imagine they Schaefer and Celebrini?
If they ended up, they would be like well in a playoff spot right now.
That would be having a franchise defenseman and a franchise forward,
And
both 18 and 19 years old,
and a potential franchise goaltender with Askarov.
Askarov's got some growing to do. I think he'll get better once the defensive front end gets better.
Yeah,
but yeah, he's had some bright spots this year. But I'd love to see the Sharks sneak into the playoffs. I think they'd be a really fun team to watch. I'd love to see Celebrini in the playoffs. Like that kid's just fun to watch. I was at the Sabres Sharks game the other night, and that was the only time I ever got nervous during that game was when he was on the ice. Like he scored a goal directly because of him. He forced a turnover. He was just relentless.
yeah.
He would not stave off the pressure. Tuck passes to nobody. Will Smith steals it. Beautiful backhand goal in front of the net by Celebrini. Like
Yeah.
I think Lindy Ruff said it best when he was asked about that. He was like, "What are your thoughts on Celebrini?" He's like, "That kid scares me."
Yes.
Yeah, that kid should scare every team in the league.
Imagine going in practice going up against that guy.
Dude, he's so good. He's so fucking
good.
I feel like he wasn't hyped enough coming out of the draft. I think it was maybe we were a little fatigued because the Bedard draft was the year before. Nobody would shut the fuck up about Bedard. And then Celebrini came in and like he was hyped up, but not nearly as hyped up as Bedard was, at least in my memory. And I think he's better than Bedard.
Dude, the sports, like pro sports shit runs in Celebrini's family. I know his dad works for the Warriors, and on top of that,
Draymond Green was, I think, at the draft when he got drafted because he's like friends with the family.
And his brother up in Vancouver, Washington or whatever, or Canada, sorry.
Oh yeah, I heard his little brother's really fucking good too.
He averages like 3 points per game in the fucking league.
He was like 15U, right?
Yeah. Dude, he's disgusting.
We might have another Celebrini in the NHL in a few years.
And dude, there was was it Bedard or there was another it might have been Bedard, praising his, like, literally like hung out for the day. Like that's, if you're 15, you have your brother in the NHL and you get to hang out with NHL, that's sick.
Yeah, we might see another Celebrini in the league in a couple of years.
We will. Give it another 2 to 3 years. We're going to see. I don't even know what his first name is, but dude's a stud. This episode is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. With player props and live betting, every shift, every shot, every save gives you options to get in on the game with DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $30 in bonus bets instantly. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That is 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for gambling problems. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. Must be the age of 21 years or older. Age and eligibility vary by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after assurance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos for details. NFL Sunday ticket offer for new subscribers only. Auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday ticket/terms. Limited time offer.
All right, quick timeout before we get back to the action. This episode is brought to you by W Energy. Listen, hockey's fast, and whether you're breaking down plays, yelling shoot from the couch, or just getting in a workout, you've got to stay sharp. That's where W comes in. Clean energy with zero sugar, no crash, no artificial flavors or dyes. Just 150 milligrams of caffeine per serving, about 2 cups of coffee's worth to keep you locked in and ready to go. Personally, I use W before the gym, on the ice, and even when prepping content for the pod. If you need that extra spark, whether you're grinding through work, lifting, or lacing up the skates, W's got you covered. Head over to W.GG and use code CFBPOD for 10% off your order. That's W.GG, code CFBPOD for 10% off your order. Fuel up, stay locked in, and let's get back to the episode. All right, I want to get into our power rankings now.
Yeah, I think this is the first time we've done power rankings all season.
And it's been the first time in like a year and a half we've done that.
Yeah, we tried doing them weekly in the past, and it just kind of, I don't know if we got fatigued of it. It just became a little much.
Because we did that for,
I feel like we were doing it too often.
We were doing it every week for like 2 months straight, and it almost felt repetitive.
I think like once a month or once every 2 weeks would have been better.
Yeah, I think once like monthly rankings or whatever for how teams played that month specifically would be solid. But yeah, we got our top 10 power rankings, and the criteria that we kind of went off of this was how they're playing recently. We're not going off, they're not just standings where we're going off of how they played, the entire season. We're not just going off the last week. It's just, kind of how they've been playing really since the Olympic break, if I say so myself. And we're going to kick it off here with number 10. Who do we have? The Boston Bruins at number 10 here.
Yeah, Boston currently at 37-23-6 record, 80 points. They are in wild card one spot in the Eastern Conference. This has been a team that I don't think anyone's been super high on going into the season, and they've been in the playoff spot they've been very up and down, but they've been consistent, which is the biggest compliment you can give a team this late in the year. And they've been in a playoff spot all year. They've found ways to stay in games, win games that they necessarily shouldn't be winning. And it's still a tight spot. They're only 1 point up of Columbus. They own the tiebreaker right now over the Detroit Red Wings. I think this team will hold on and make a playoff spot. I think they've just been too consistent not to. And they've been a pleasant surprise this year.
They've been a really pleasant surprise this year, and I thought they were a team that was going to kind of hover around that 500 mark the entire season. And obviously, if they've surpassed my expectations there, I do think they will end up getting that wild card one spot. Now, Columbus is playing really well, but Boston, they've gotten more consistent play as of late. I mean, since the Olympic break, they haven't played bad. They've been winning the games that they've really needed to. Like, their 2 regulation losses this season have come since the Olympic break or whatever in the month of March here, have come against Western Conference teams. They got an overtime loss there against Pittsburgh there, but a well-needed point, and they ended up beating Pittsburgh there 2-1 on the third. They beat Washington. They beat Washington twice in back-to-back Saturdays. So this team, they have been winning the games they need to, and that's what you've seen from Boston a lot of the times. They've been better against Atlantic Division opponents or Eastern Conference opponents, and especially at home. I believe they have one of the best home records in the league at 25-9-1 on the road. It's a different story, but this team has been very, very up and downsy, but they have played better hockey than worse hockey.
I think the biggest difference maker this year has been Jeremy Swayman. Is kind of, I wouldn't say returned to form from a couple years ago, but he's been much better than he was last season.
Last season he was brutal.
Yeah, and everyone was like, maybe they shouldn't have signed with that contract. He's been better this year, and he's part of the reason why they've been so competitive this year.
Holding a save percentage of .906 for the entire season, I'd say that's definitely a bounce back season.
Yeah, compared to his numbers from last season, yeah, he's been much better this year.
Yeah, moving on to the number 9 spot, we have the Columbus Blue Jackets. They really could be higher if the teams in front of them.
Yeah, that's the problem is the teams in front of them just keep winning.
Yeah. This team has played phenomenal out of the break. Their season record is 34-21-11 for 79 points. Like you said, they're only 1 point back here of the Red Wings, who seem to be choking the playoff spot out for the 3rd straight season. But the Blue Jackets, this team has been playing pretty much lights out hockey ever since they fired Dean Everson. Zach Werenski said himself, this is the most communication he's had between himself and a coach in his entire NHL career. And the Blue Jackets, 5-1-4 in their last 10. They only have that one regulation loss.
They're finding ways just to get points. When you're in a tight playoff race, just any point is helpful.
Just get any point, and they ended up losing to Florida in overtime. They are on a point streak. I think it's a 9-game point streak. They've been able to keep the puck out of the net. Jack Reeves has been really good. You're getting more consistent play out of guys like Fantilli, Kent Johnson,
what a
Marchenko.
Pickup Connor Garland's been too.
For just a second and a third.
I can't believe that's all he cost. Like, if I feel like a lot of other teams would have been in, but he's had 4 goals in 5 games so far for the Blue Jackets. I really like that pickup. It's amazing what you could do when you're not on the worst team in the league and you have chances to score.
And you know what? That's a good point. And obviously, talking about Zach Werenski, who is having a Norris caliber season right now. I mean,
this is the most wide open Norris race I've ever seen in the last few years. Like, the last few years, I feel like it's kind of been not super competitive.
It's literally been Cale Makar and Quinn Hughes.
Well, and then Eric Carlson had that one crazy season a couple years ago on the Sharks where he had 100 points. But right now this Norris race is kind of wide open. You can make an argument for a number of guys right now. I think Bouchard leads the league in defenseman points right now.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see his defensive stats a little bit because I feel like the last few years it's been kind of which defenseman gets the most points, but not necessarily plays the best defense.
Yep.
And that's why I'd make an argument like Bouchard. Yeah, he has the most points, but Werenski, Hughes, and Makar play much better defense.
And I'm gonna stray away from that Norris talk real quick, and because I do think Zach Werenski right now is the Norris favorite in my opinion.
He's having an incredible season,
phenomenal season, and he's a big part. I don't know why the Blue Jackets are where they are right now.
He's the best player on their team, and he's a defenseman.
Yes, which is a very rare.
I believe he also leads the team in points.
Yeah, 68 points in 59 games. And then another reason on why this team is where they are at the moment is Jack Greaves. You look at his numbers now for the season. He sits with a 908 save percentage, whatever, 264 goals against, 2 shutouts, and 42 games.
That's been like great goaltending though for Columbus. When was the last time they had a goaltender that put up decent numbers like that? It was probably like Bobrovsky's last year in Columbus.
Up 2019, I believe that was.
Yeah.
And outside of that, they just had mediocre to bad.
Yeah, because they had a couple decent years with Korpisalo. They ended up moving on from him. I think Merzlikins had one good year. They signed him that horrible contract, and he's been trash ever since.
He got off to probably the worst start I've seen a goaltender get off to. I mean, he's been better, but he hasn't been great.
But Jack Greaves has been consistent, and he can make it. Like he's been what this team's been missing the last couple of years. He's not gonna blow you away. But he'll steal you a game every once in a while. But the biggest thing is you won't lose a game because of him.
And people tend to forget, too, he went on an insane run in the last 11 games of last season.
Last season, he was the only reason why they almost made the playoffs.
He almost single-handedly carried them to a playoff spot.
No, he's earned that starting goaltender spot. I think they'll reward him with a nice contract extension this season.
I would
He's an RFA, so he's making under $1 million right now. I'm assuming he's going to get a decent pay raise this summer.
Something, even if it's just
probably
a 3-year
in the $4 to $5 million range, I'd say for him. 3-year prove it deal. Like, can you be a consistent starter for us?
Yes, prove it to us. Number 8 here coming in, the New York Islanders here, a team that has they're in the same spot as Pittsburgh. They're playing better hockey than what I initially thought, and sitting here with an overall season record of 38, 24, and 5, 81 points, tied for second there in the Metro, obviously 1 game more than the Penguins. So Penguins have a tiebreaker, but 7-3 in their last 10. They've been playing really good hockey. Matthew Schaefer, generational fucking talent. The way that Darche has just come in and has overhauled the entire youth system in New York has been phenomenal. They have deserved.
Well, they're starting to build a team around more of Patrick Waugh type players, higher speed, higher skill guys. Last few years with Barry Trotz and the coach they had after that, it was more of a in-your-face defensive kind of game where we're comfortable playing a 1-0 game for half the game and pulling out a win. Yeah, Schaefer has really energized his team, I'd say. Barzell's returned to form after a couple injured years. I think the biggest story this year, though, has been the play of Ilya Sorokin.
Fucking resurgence. He's had a down season in his terms over the last season or two, and his .913 save percentage this season, phenomenal. Yeah, he's been incredible this year, and I think he'll be a Vezina finalist this season. Should be. But yeah, he's been a huge reason why this team has been turned around in the playoff spot for almost all season. Like, it's another team like with Boston where I didn't have super high expectations for. I thought they'd hover around that wild card range, maybe not sneak in. They've kind of lucky with a couple other teams not really having a great season or a rough start, like specifically with Ottawa. Ottawa is a very interesting team where they are right now. I think they're a lot better than the record says, but we're not talking about Ottawa right now. We're talking about the Islanders, and they've got a bright future ahead. Like you said, they have a franchise, in my opinion, defenseman in Matthew Schaefer, who's only just what he's doing as an 18-year-old is just insane. As an 18-year-old defenseman at that. Yeah, like I know Bennett Seneca is leading the league in points right now for a rookie, but I don't see how Schaefer isn't unanimously rookie of the year just because of being a defenseman. I think people have to understand how much harder it is for an 18-year-old defenseman to play in the NHL at a high level than how old is Seneca? Like 19? 19 or something. 19-year-old. Like what he's doing is super impressive too. I'm not trying to take that away from him. He's been amazing. He's a big reason why the Ducks are a playoff team this year. But as a defenseman,
especially in the Eastern Conference, is a much harder conference to play in. I've been super, super, super impressed with Schaefer, and I think I'll be like unanimously Rookie of the Year.
I agree with that. What Schaefer has done offensively, defensively, I know he's had some defensive lapses, but
it's going to happen. You're an 18-year-old rookie.
You look at what he's been doing with the puck confident. His skating, his edge work is so great. His energy, his vibes, I know that doesn't really go into a fucking Rookie of the Year shit, but just looking at him as a player outside of that race.
He's going to be the captain of the Islanders in a few years. Mark my words.
I agree with that. In my opinion, that's not really a hot take. Not that you said it was, but you look at
this kid just has a leader built all over, like look all over him, like just the stuff he's been through in his life, the resiliency he's shown. Like, if you guys don't know his story, you should really look it up. It's one of the most incredible stories in hockey, I feel like, in the last 10, 15 years. Just an incredible story of all the maturity and the resiliency that he shows as a child.
He's gone through, tragedies off the ice and on the ice as well. And to do all this and keep a smile on your face.
Well, just to even keep playing at such a high level, like if he would have fizzled out after all that happened, or maybe, just turn into more of an average player, people are like, well, look at what he's gone through, man. Like, how would you be able to keep playing hockey through that? But to keep playing at such a high level and turn that tragedy into strength has been just remarkable. Wouldn't shock me if he won, was it the Mastersons?
Yeah.
Wouldn't shock me if he's a finalist for that award this year either.
If kids don't already look up to him, they have to look up to him.
I can't think of a better role model for a young hockey player than Matthew Schaefer right now.
He goes out in his community, he serves it, and, in his hometown on Long Island. I mean, this dude, even on social media, like, whenever the NHL posts a clip of him, it's always something positive.
I mean, of course they're going to post something positive, but there hasn't really been any negative for to say about it. From everything I've seen, this kid seems like an awesome guy.
Down to earth kid, it just seems like a fantastic person on and off the ice. Number 7 here, we talked about them earlier. The Montreal Canadiens, the best, brightest team in the league right now. They have been playing phenomenal hockey. I know they've kind of played up and down, but coming out of the Olympic break here, they've been really good. They have 5-2-3 record in their last 10. They sit at 82 points for the entire season in 65 games played, in third in the Atlantic Division.
Yeah, they've been. We're not gonna have a super long discussion because we kind of gassed them up a little bit.
We did,
but yeah, they've been super impressive this year. I think they're right where they should be in their rebuild. I think their rebuild's officially over now.
Yes,
they just need to add a couple depth pieces, and they should be a cup contender for a long time.
Yeah, this team, their window is 10 years right now. It is just opening, and this is their year where they go and win at least the first round playoff, even if they play Tampa Bay or Buffalo.
I mean, those are the tough series, but that's how you get better, right?
Yeah.
You got to beat the good teams.
In order to get to the Eastern Conference Finals and win a cup, you have to beat the.
I would say yes. Second round's a reasonable expectation for this team.
Yeah. I think so. Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. And again, we gassed him up earlier, so we're gonna move on here all the way to number 6, Tampa Bay Lightning. Again, this team. If it wasn't for Buffalo or Carolina, they have the third best record in the league since December 1st.
They haven't been great though after the Olympic break, which is why they've dropped a few points in the standings for me. In the power rankings, where they've been 3-7. They've won 3 games since the Olympic break. They beat Toronto twice. Woo-hoo. Wow,
good job,
congratulations! And I believe they beat who they beat the other night. Was it Columbus? No, they lost to Columbus yesterday.
They beat
Detroit, yeah. So they lost to the Hurricanes yesterday, which isn't really anything to hang your head about. They're a good team, but yeah, they just have they'd be comfortably in first place if they were 500 since the Olympic break. It's kind of opened the window for Buffalo to jump them in the standings.
And you know what? Not only that, but also
2 big losses to Buffalo.
2 big losses. You ended up getting smacked 6-2, and then a couple weeks later. And probably the game of the year we talked about last weekend, they end up losing 8-7 against Buffalo. They went down 4-1. They stormed back. They're 6-4, and then they lose 8-7.
That was a crazy fucking game.
That was a crazy game, and those are 2 games where at least you have to have one of those games.
Those are 4 points straight up in the standings that Buffalo made up on you.
Yes, it's a big.
That's why they're in first place right now.
And now
they're up by 4 points.
They're up by 4 points. That's where it could be. If you end up winning those 2 games, it's vice versa.
Oh yeah, you have a comfortable lead in the division. Yeah.
And everybody's talking about, Buffalo, looks good, top 3 in the division, not
potentially they could win the Eastern Conference good.
Yeah, and they end up having a huge loss against Carolina yesterday.
Yeah, I mean Carolina, they're incredible. They're the best team in the Eastern Conference, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll get to them later, but Tampa Bay, they're still a scary team. They just need to play a little bit more consistently.
Yeah, their defense and goaltending has been a little bit shaky over here over the last 10 games, and they have a huge stretch of games coming up here on the Western Coast road trip or whatever. Seattle, Vancouver, Edmonton, and Calgary there in the Pacific road trip that every East team takes. So we'll see how they stand out there, and they have a lot of West teams here that they're facing, but this is where beating the in-conference and in-division teams come into really
that's
effect.
been the story of the Eastern Conference this year, is the inter-conference games, where the East has largely owned the Western Conference and cost conference games. So that's why the East is, outside of the Central Division, has been so much more stronger than the Western Conference.
Because the East teams are slacking.
It seems like most of the time when the East plays the West, the East wins.
And even like Colorado, they struggle against the East too. So that just goes to show you. Number 5 here in the top 5, the Minnesota Wild. Ever since they got Quentin Hughes, they have been one of the best teams in the league. But over the last 10 games or so, the Wild have a record of 5-3-2. I know they ended up losing the game, but they have 88 points in 67 games played this season, sit third in the Central Division. Kind of looks like they have that third spot locked.
No, I just want to remind the audience, as we get to these top 5 teams, there's not really a whole lot of space between them and these standings. They're very tight. Because we're dealing with the top 5 teams in the whole NHL, and outside of Colorado, they're all only separated by a max of 5 points, 6 points. So it's all very tight. But Minnesota, man, they're an amazing team. But the thing that kills me with them is they're in a division with Colorado and Dallas.
Yep.
And that's a really tough road to a Stanley Cup. Is you're going to have to play Dallas or Colorado in the first round. And then the second round, you're either going to play Colorado or Dallas, like the 2 best teams in the league.
You're going to come out of the first round if you do end up coming out beat up.
Yeah, where Colorado is going to be most likely we're going to be playing wild card team.
You're going to have a rainbow of a journey for Colorado.
Yeah, like that's just really tough. I mean, if they make it out of that, then I think they're going to win the Stanley Cup, because this team is really, really, really good. I can't believe they got Quinn Hughes. What a slam dunk trade that's been. Where I don't really think they gave up a lot for him.
No, they end up giving the.
I think Bouillam's going to be a decent defenseman, but he's not Quinn Hughes.
No,
no offense to Bouillam. Like Quinn Hughes is a top 2 defenseman in the league.
Top 1. I will stand on that.
I think the only guy that's been better than him since he got to Minnesota has been Zach Werenski.
Yes, that's something I can get behind.
Yeah,
I'll fight for my dog Quinn Hughes, but I can get behind that argument.
Since he got out of Vancouver, he looks rejuvenated. Yeah, he's having fun playing again.
He has having fun.
I remember his first or second game in Minnesota. They caught him smiling on the bench. He's like, "Oh, watch out, Quinn is smiling again."
He's still seeing ghosts, though.
Yeah,
still seeing ghosts. The Wild, they're winning games that they are supposed to. They beat Vegas. I know they lost in shootout against Colorado over last Sunday.
It's Colorado.
But they ended up shutting out Utah. They got a point against the Flyers, and they lost against the Rangers last night 4-2. But again,
that's a tough.
That's a tough loss. That's a game you do have to have. But Minnesota at this point, they're kind of locked into that third spot. They're 88 points back. Not back. Sorry, they have 88 points, and Dallas is 94.
88 points back. Jesus Christ.
Dallas finds themselves 3 points back. We'll get them in a second here. But again, Minnesota, a team that's been playing really, really good hockey. And coming in at number 4, the Carolina Hurricanes, who best team in the Eastern Conference right now.
Yep.
Yes.
Record-wise, yeah.
I mean, you look at Carolina, they're running away with the Metro. They're 9 points up, 7-3 in the last 10. Some of the best offense in the league. They have solid goaltending.
My biggest question mark for Carolina is not whether they're a cup contender. They clearly are. They have been for the last few years. They should have a relatively straightforward path to the Eastern Conference Final. You know, they're in the Metropolitan Division, so I think they're going to win the division. I don't think they have a 9-point lead on Pittsburgh right now. So you're going to be playing. I think they'll probably win the Eastern Conference as well. So you're going to be playing a wild card team. Do they get unlucky and maybe have to play like a really surging Blue Jackets or Ottawa team that's maybe sneaking into that wild card 2 spot? Could be a bit of a trap series for them. But
I mean, could we see a situation where we saw it last year with the Blues and Jets, where the Blues took Winnipeg to 7 and came 2 seconds away from upsetting them?
Maybe. I'm not sure, but Carolina should have a fairly straightforward path to the Eastern Conference Final. My biggest question mark, like I'll get back to my point, is will their goal scoring disappear in the playoffs again, like it has been the last few years? I know, like they lost to the Rangers a couple years ago. Igor Shesterkin was playing the best hockey of his career.
Yeah,
and it is what it is. But like, if you look in that series, the Carolina was largely the better team in that series. Just they ran into a hot goaltender.
Yeah, I thought maybe they would go out and get a second line center at the deadline. They didn't do it.
I think the asking price was too high.
Well, yeah, but also
like, I heard they had pretty deep talks with the Rangers about Trocheck, but the Rangers would not get off their asking price.
Well, yeah, I know the Rangers wouldn't, but that's where when you're Carolina, you just fucking give up something. And when you're a team like Carolina, personally, I don't think it asking prices that much unless the team is asking for like give us.
But Carolina's been an interesting team where they've been I think they've been very good in their asset management as well. Like they have the most cap space out of any contending team. They have $8 million in cap space right now. They have a lot of their players locked up on long-term deals. They have $14 million in cap space going into next year, with not really anyone they really need to pay big money. They added Delorier as a rental, but outside of that, almost everybody on their team's under contract next season. And so they can go out and get a good free agent in free agency, and like they're in a really good spot cap wise. They can also move a couple. I know they're interested in moving off of Jesperi Kokoniemi's contract. It's kind of tough ask.
Brutal. That's
almost $5 million cap hit, but you know, if you have to trade away like a second or third round pick to just get that off the books and maybe go big fish hunting, maybe get a guy like Alex Tuch in free agency, who could be like a real big difference maker for them. Where I think they need to add another top 6 forward.
Oh, Tuch is the perfect win now forward for them.
Yeah, like Nikolai Ehlers has been really good for them. Didn't he get injured?
He got injured at one point.
Yeah, he's playing now. It wasn't a serious because it didn't look great when I saw the injury.
No.
But glad to see he's healthy. But he's been a good pickup, a good addition to that lineup. This team is good. My biggest question mark for them, though, going to the playoffs is goaltending. Brandon Bussy's been a hell of a story this year. They rewarded him with a 3-year contract extension. Can he keep that going in the playoffs? Because I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be the game 1 starter.
He should be the game 1 starter. His stats been much better than Anderson's. And now, granted, the Carolina Hurricanes currently do not have a goaltender with a save percentage over 900.
Yeah, that's my concern. But Bussy's like had a random insane game every once in a while, but can you do that over a playoff run?
You have to do that. Like, yeah, you have to have not insane run, but you have to be able to make the saves that you're asked to do. And can Busty do that? We'll see. He was a waiver pickup right before the season. And again, he's had a really good season. He's winning pretty much every single game. But you look at the goals against at 2.37 compared to the save percentage at 8.99. That shows you, again, Carolina's system is, and it's always been like this way for especially the last 6 seasons, keep shots limited. And
they also shoot from everywhere. I remember last year in that playoff series against New Jersey. Mind you, New Jersey was injured to hell and back defensively, but Carolina was just relentless. They would not stop shooting the puck. They just kept winning battles in the corner, just kept getting on a net. And who gives a fuck if you have 50 shots on net and you only score 2? But that's you're getting so much more possession time than the other team, and then that other team really has that pressure on. Like they get a lot of pressure put on them when they get scoring chances to capitalize because they haven't been getting a lot of chances. So they're forced into making not so great shots or making a tough pass because they know like we might not be down here again for another 5 minutes.
Yep, and on top of that too, if you have your top forwards in the defensive zone for 30 seconds, it is a lot harder to be on the ice for 30 seconds in your own zone.
It's so much more exhausting playing defense than offense because you're chasing when you're playing defense, right? And that's how you really wear a team out.
That's what Carolina does perfectly. Coming into our top 3, I cannot believe this day has finally fucking come. The Buffalo Sabres enter the top 3.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Has there been a hotter team in the last month than the Buffalo Sabres?
Nope. Not one.
It's just remarkable, man. Like we've said this time and time again. Like when was the last time a team had a turnaround like this? They were legitimately bad.
Literally, I'm not even kidding you. The 2019 St. Louis Blues.
Like this is insane. But even then, like the Blues, like did they win their division that year? Like did they?
Well, yeah, they ended up going up until like I think they won their division outright.
Let me check the standings. They came in 3rd in their division that year. They missed out on first place by a point.
They were in last, I think, like what? Dead last in the league, mind you. Like
January 2nd. They were fighting in practice.
Yeah,
it was insane. Yeah, I would say that's probably the closest comparison. But like they're like legitimately good. Like that's the thing is they're not. It's not a fluke. Like they're legitimately a good hockey team.
This is not a fluke that the Sabres have had before, where they've gotten off to strong starts or had a
This isn't like
streak.
2018 where they won 10 in a row and then won one game in the entire month of March.
Yeah, and on top of that, the entire 10-game winning streak, they only had one win in regulation. And it was like a 2-goal game.
That was a very fluky run
That
where they
was.
were like getting all the stops and everything was going their way.
And this, it's not a fluke. Like people have realized that it's not a fluke.
They haven't lost back-to-back regulation games since December.
Yup. And it was right before their 10-game winning streak.
It was when their last, like, I would say rock bottom was when they got their asses beat by Calgary in Calgary.
Yup.
And we both thought, like, oh, season's over. We got walked by Calgary, man. They suck.
And at that time, they were one of the worst teams in the league.
They still are one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah.
But
I mean, they're getting production from everybody. And even they ended up coming out of the Olympic break, winning 8 games. You drop one to Washington, and it literally took a goal with 1 minute and 32 seconds left.
I thought they were the better team in that game. Just Charlie Lindgren had a really good game in that game.
He had a really good game. And then they end up beating Toronto in a shootout.
And that should have not been a shootout game. Joseph Woll was amazing in that game last night.
I think he had a goals above expected or whatever, goal saves above expected, like 2.5.
That's crazy for one game.
It is crazy.
But Alex Lyon has been so good for them too. Like he's got to be their game one starter, right?
Yes,
without a doubt. Like
for
Lukin,
sure.
I think's been fine, but Lyon's been so much more consistent. What a contract that is too. It's like under $2 million, and it's under contract for next season again.
I mean, they signed him to a 2-year contract worth what, 1.5 or something like that per year.
1.5, yep.
1.5.
And there was rumors that they were shopping him when Keekalina took over because he didn't want to do the 3 goalie situation anymore. And I heard if there was going to be one they were trading, it was going to be Lyon, and it's a good thing he didn't do that.
And then right when those rumors came out, Alex Lyon said, "Hold my beer."
Oh yeah, because that was what Keekalina said. Yeah, we're done with the 3 goalie experiment.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as I know, it's still going.
Yeah, and
Ellis doesn't play a lot.
No,
it's been pretty much
he does
a cycle between Lyon and Lukin.
Sometimes Ellis does end up backing up the goaltender.
Well, usually that's what they've been doing. Is like most nights, Ellis will be the backup, and then Lyon or Lukin will start, and then they give the other guy just the night off.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe Ellis is hurt right now.
He backed up the other night.
He didn't back up last night. Lukin.
Yeah, correct.
Lukin was. I think he's on IR.
Ellis is still on IR? I swear he backed up the other night.
Yeah, but I think he got hurt in practice the next day.
Oh, okay. I didn't even hear about that.
Because he was supposed to be the backup last night. But
so much for my credibility. I'm currently writing about injuries. Fuck.
Yeah, I believe he is injured. I could be wrong, but I believe he is injured.
Anyways, carry on.
But yeah, the Sabres, what more can we say about them that we haven't already said?
No, Ellis isn't on IR.
The cap wages is lying.
It doesn't say it on cap wages for me.
It does for me, right there.
Does
what the fuck? It literally says IR. It says Samuelson, Timmins, and Ellis on IR.
I don't see.
Does it show anyone on IR for you?
Only Timmins.
I don't fucking know that.
Anyways, we've said so much about the Sabres at this point over the last 3 weeks it's been, or even longer than that.
Yeah.
It just feels like we're just beating a dead horse at this point. So number 2, the Colorado Avalanche.
People are gonna say, "What? They're not number 1." No, not right now.
Colorado, man, they are. Hold on. Are they gonna choke the division?
Dallas is making it interesting.
Can we combine these two teams together here?
Sure.
Number 1, we have the Dallas fucking Stars. The Dallas Stars right now are 9-0.
The only team like outside of the Sabres you can make an argument for being the hottest team in the last month has been the Dallas Stars.
Yes.
This team is fucking scary.
They broke their franchise record just recently.
Yeah, 10-game win streak. Now they lost one, and now they're on a 4-game. They lost one in a shootout.
Yep.
That ended. They're on a point streak still, but that ended their win streak. But they've won 4 games straight since that shootout loss.
Now all of a sudden they're on Colorado's ass. And speaking of Colorado, those two teams have a big game coming up in Colorado on the 18th here. Coming up this week.
Is that a national television game? That should be.
TNT.
Yes, sir. That should be must-see TV.
If you're not gonna do it, tune into that game.
That's gonna be a playoff game.
It will be.
Because even if I know it's a regular season game and it is what it is, but these teams got to send a message to each other because in all likelihood they should be playing each other in the second round of the playoffs.
Yep.
and they got to send a message to the other guy.
And there are 2 more games, mind you, against these 2 teams. There's one on
NHL cooked.
April 4th. That's Saturday, 2 p.m. Central Time, so 1 p.m. Eastern or 3 p.m. whatever. ABC that game is on. So
yeah, that should be those should be national television games.
Yep.
Yeah,
there you go.
Two best teams in the league, in my opinion. It sucks that they're in the same division, but Dallas, man, they're a fucking scary team. Scary team.
If there's one team that can take Colorado out, it is Dallas. And Colorado, they should be scared of too. Well, there
was one team in the league that Colorado would be nervous about playing in a 7-game series. I think it'd be the Dallas Stars.
Yep. Hey, you want to know what's crazy about Colorado here too? Nathan McKinnon, 109 points in 64 games played. Natchez already has 80 and 62.
Dude, what a pickup Natchez has been.
What?
Ooh. Like, I know, like they lost Rantanen, and I think in hindsight, if they knew Rantanen would have ended up on the Dallas Stars, I don't think they would have traded him.
Hindsight's 2020, right?
If he would have stayed in Carolina, they would have been like, okay, you know, he's not in our conference. We don't have to fucking. Now he's in your division,
and he eliminated them in the first round last year.
Maybe he's turning into your boogeyman.
Yeah, single-handedly, he's like, fuck this team.
I don't think he ever thought he'd be traded.
No, he was literally blindsided by it.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I can check this real quick, but the cap differences between Natchez and Rantanen aren't very different.
I know Ranson's at 12 or 12 and a half. I think Natchez did
11 and a half.
Yeah,
so
there
it's
you
only
go.
$1 million difference. Like, was it worth doing all like? I know Natchez has been a great fit for that team, but has it really been that different than Rantanen had been for them before?
Outside of speed, not really. No,
Yeah.
Rantanen was one of the reasons why their power play was so lethal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have seen the turn between their power play from with Rantanen and without. The Avalanche have one of the worst power plays in the league. Literally one of the worst. Like, what is it? Like 31st or something. It is shocking. You have like Natchez, McCarr, McKinnon, even Brock Nelson. You add Nazem Kadri to that. You have Lehkonen, Nichushkin, Landeskog. Those are all power play guys, and the power play is so bad.
The only teams that have worse power plays than them are the Islanders, the Flames, and the Flyers.
That is crazy.
The Canucks have a better power play than they do.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
even strength, though, the Avalanche are one of the best.
That's where they scare you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they have speed, and the Avalanche and the Stars playing in the second round, that's going to be great. I mean, both teams have played phenomenal hockey here, but...
Are you just writing off the Wild?
What's that?
Are you just writing off the Wild?
Yeah. I love my Wild. I mean, we've seen how Dallas is playing right now.
Yeah, they're in a really unfortunate situation where, like, they share a division with the 2 best teams in the league.
Yeah. Yes. And you know what?
The standings are so wild. Like, I've never seen it so much, like, outside of one division, it's so lopsided towards one conference. Because the Pacific Division, like, let's be honest, is kind of a joke.
It is a fucking joke.
Like, the Vegas, who leads the Pacific Division right now, would not even be in a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference.
Imagine being Columbus right now at 79 points. And they're 3 points up on Vegas, but it's not. You can finish 10th in the league this season and miss the fucking playoffs.
Yeah, it's wild how the difference between the East and the West this year.
It's
absolutely wild.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like this before.
Top of my head, I can't really think of anything like that.
Like, even last year's, it was pretty much even. I mean, you did not have a team inside the top.
It's usually
14
pretty even.
playoffs.
Like, yeah, but the Central Division is so fucking top heavy. And the Central Division is just much higher quality in general than the Pacific Division.
Yeah. I mean, you're looking at right now the Blue Jackets sit 12th in the league. Vegas is 13th. Anaheim sits 15th in the league. Like, you're going to have teams inside the top 12 in the East miss the playoffs.
Like, if I'm Utah and I'm chilling in wildcard spot 1 right now, I'm kind of okay with that. If wildcard 1 is the spot you want to be in right now, if you're not a top 3 team in your division,
you know what?
Because you avoid the Avalanche.
But San Jose is on their ass too.
I'd love San Jose to make the playoffs,
Me
man.
too.
Because they have 3 games in hand. I always assume in those games in hand that the team with games in hand is going to win those games. You always have to assume. And if San Jose does win those 3 less games than they played in Utah, San Jose is a wild card 1 team.
Which would be fucking absurd.
Yeah.
Absurd.
if I'm a Western Conference team, I'm trying very hard to avoid wild card 2 spots
That-
if I can.
I agree. That West playoff race though is getting interesting.
I mean, I think the Kings would be happy to be wild card 2 just to give Kopitar one last shot because he's going to retire and it would suck for his last year.
Speaking of, last night he did pass Marcel Dionne for the most points in franchise history for the Kings.
Yeah, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the best two-way forwards of all time. I think he's up there with like Patrice Bergeron of one of the best defensive forwards of all time in hockey.
Yep.
First ballot Hall of Famer. His number would be retired. I'm sure they'll build a statue because everyone in LA gets a statue.
Okay.
Dustin
Was that
Brown.
a shot? I feel like a Kopitar.
What? No.
Well, because Dustin Brown did get a statue.
I'm saying if Dustin Brown got a statue, then Kopitar 1,000,000% will get a statue.
Oh, Kopitar is
And
going
Doughty.
to get a statue.
And Doughty.
Kopitar and Doughty will have their names up in the rafters. They'll have statues
Low-key,
outside
Jonathan
of the
Quick should get one too, but
yeah, they're gonna have four
if we're kind of the criteria of Dustin Brown, the Jonathan Quick should also get a
Jonathan
statue.
Quick was an integral part of that
He's
team.
the reason they won that Stanley Cup in 2012.
Elite netminder there. You had elite.
He was elite for like 7 or 8 years
Yes.
in LA.
Oh, he was. He was the epitome of the LA Kings in
Yeah.
winning those Stanley Cups in the early 2010s.
Yeah.
I mean, Kopitar, man, the longevity, the small list of injury history, the offensive consistency that he's had over his career, like he's done it. His leadership on the team, his willingness to do whatever it takes to win for the team, it's been very impressive to watch. And if people have been watching him for however, like 15 plus years, whatever. In his prime, he was one of the best.
I mean, he's
two-way
still
forwards.
incredible. He's lost a little bit of his speed, but he's so damn smart.
Mhm.
He can make up for all that. Like that's the same thing you see with like Sidney Crosby. Is like, okay, he might not be as fast as he used to be. Crosby's still pretty damn quick though, but he's just so fucking smart. He's so much smarter than other guys. It always amazes me, in professional sports where it's the best players in the world. Like the top 1% of the top 1%, right? And there's still guys that are that much better than the other best players in the world.
And Kopitar falls into that.
It's insane to me, like how a guy like Connor McDavid can exist, right? In a world where like it's the best league in the world, it's all the best players, and he's in the 1% of the 1% of the 1%.
And you look at a guy like McKinnon, Kucherov, Celebrini, Makar, like those are the guys in the 1% of the 1%. Obviously, I think that McDavid's in a tier of his own.
But you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
though? It's insane to me. Like, same thing with Kopitar. Like, you're in the best league in the world with the best players in the world, and you're still better than all of them, and it's by a wide margin.
And he's going to be first ballot Hall of Famer. And imagine coming into the league as an 18-year-old, just happy to play your first NHL game, and then
But he's part of the legendary 2005 draft.
yup. And now you look back 20 years later, and you're going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. You have a send out for the LA Kings. You've been with one franchise your entire career, and you have won multiple Stanley Cups. You have
I'm sorry, I meant
2003?
2003, but he was drafted in 2005. But
Okay.
I meant the legendary 2003 draft. My
Okay.
bad.
yeah, no, you're good.
I spread misinformation for fun.
Something that he loves to do. Kopitar, man, there's nothing more else I can say. What a stud, first ballot Hall of Famer, like I said 6 times, and overall, I'm happy for him, man. I mean,
Yeah, I'd love for him to get one last shot.
Me too.
At a cup. Don't think they'll win the cup, but hey, you never know. You just got to get in. When they won in 2012, they were the 8th seed.
They barely snuck in.
They lost, I think, 4 games that entire playoff run.
Yep, I think they swept somebody in the second
Vancouver,
round.
They swept. I think they either swept or won in 5 against St. Louis. They won in 5 against Arizona. That was a weird.
That was a
year.
weird Western Conference final.
Yeah, and then they beat New Jersey in 6 in the Stanley Cup final.
And by the way, that New Jersey team was fucking stacked.
Yeah, it was pretty good, but that Kings team was just that much better. I wouldn't say that the Devils team was that great. Brodeur, he had like an incredible playoff run.
930 save percentage,
like
or something.
a
I think.
vintage Brodeur playoff run, and he kind of started the dip after that. But I think Brodeur kind of willed that team because who was their best player outside of like Adam Henrique or Zach Parise? They still had Patrick Elias,
who was at that point kind of declining a little bit.
Yeah, but he was still a productive player.
He was.
But
I remember watching that Cup final game. Not series, sorry. Very, very vivid memories of it. But
yeah, that was a crazy run
by LA.
Oh, it was. They had to play the President's Trophy, winning the defending Western Conference champion Vancouver Canucks, and nobody was giving them a fucking chance, and they kicked their ass.
It was not close.
It was not a competitive series at all. It was just ridiculous. That was one of the probably more improbable playoff runs I can remember the last like 20 years.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really remember much.
Like the only thing that I think that would have topped it was if Montreal would have won the playoffs in the COVID year.
What was that when they
lost in the Stanley Cup final to Tampa Bay? Like if they would have won the fucking cup that year, that would have been probably the most improbable Stanley Cup victory maybe of all time.
And that Tampa team was stacked.
Oh, that Tampa team was ridiculous. Theoretically, Montreal should have had no chance, and they really didn't have a chance.
That was where Kucherov's fucking hilarious quote came in.
I mean, he was kind of right.
He
like,
was
they win
right.
one fucking game and act like they win the cup. Like, calm the fuck down.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
They won a game when they were up. They were down 3-0 in the series, and they had to win.
Low-key Buffalo. Low-key Buffalo would do that.
It's a difference when you haven't been in the playoffs in 15 fucking years.
Montreal missed the playoffs, what?
3 or 4
3
years.
3 or 4 years.
I mean, it was a crazy, crazy run to make it to the Stanley Cup final that year, but nonetheless, yeah, they kind of did go during COVID too. I remember it was so funny. They didn't want people in the arena because of COVID. Like, oh, we gotta stop the spread. And then you go outside, and there's fucking like 10,000 people, like shoulder to shoulder, going fucking crazy. It's like. So they can stand all next to each other outside, but they can't fucking go in the building together. Like, how does that
literally makes no sense?
It makes no fucking sense.
That makes no sense.
And they were saying, well, it's because they're outside. It's like they're standing literally right next to each other, dude.
It does not matter if they're outside or not.
Yeah.
Just because you're outside doesn't mean you can't catch this fucking thing.
Yeah. It was like the same thing with like restaurants reopen. It was like, okay, you can go to restaurants if you put like fucking plastic bubbles between the fucking.
I remember
like the plastic sheets between the booths, like because that's gonna fucking do anything.
I remember restaurants too. They would try to enforce if you're not eating, keep your mask on.
Oh yeah, between bites, same thing.
No, fuck you.
I remember my first time on an airplane, like after COVID, and like they had a mask requirement, and they were still passing out food, and they were like, "We can eat." It's like, yeah, you just take your mask off between bites. It's like that's fucking stupid. Like we're stuck on a fucking tube for the next 8 hours. Like if I'm gonna get COVID, I'm gonna get fucking COVID.
It's gonna happen.
The mask is gonna do fucking anything. We're stuck. If there's someone sick, their germs are gonna get spread to me. The air gets recycled,
and you literally can breathe anything, and even it can enter through any holes. Can enter through your fucking ears.
I mean, the chances you getting sick through.
I know it's very slim to none, but still, the point being though is that you can get sick and just do.
We're getting way off topic here, but
that was fucking.
I thought that was a little funny that year where like they would score and they show like the outside like. There's probably more than 10,000 people there, like going absolutely fucking bonkers, like shoulder to shoulder, all the way down the street.
Carey Price, what an improbable run that was.
Well, he knew that was it for him. Same thing with Shea Weber. Like Shea Weber retired after that.
Didn't Shea Weber like was literally playing on one knee or
yeah,
he
had no cartilage left in his one knee, like bone on bone. I can't imagine the pain.
And I remember the story. He ended up going somewhere and saying it where he did not want the team to know about it. He literally told the team, doctor, whatever, was like, "I'm playing through this. The team is not gonna know." Like he would.
Well, they kind of did know.
Well, yeah, but he would go to the arena like hours earlier to get treatment for it, so nobody knew about it.
Yeah, well, I feel like he must have told them towards the end of the playoff run because like after they lost, like everyone kind of came up to him and they're like, "Sorry, we let you down, man." Like, kind of knew it was it for him.
Yeah.
But it was still an incredible run.
That was a great run. That's going to end it for today's episode. If you guys enjoy all of our content, head over down to the description below, subscribe, notification bell, follow us on Spotify and Apple, as well as new episodes every single Sunday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And we'll see you guys in our next episode.